Bam! How's it going, family? How's it going? Once again, it's the Xerox twins going live. But bereaved, sick, and shut in. Bruh, we always got something going on. What do we have going on today?
Man, listen, of course, the best live ever. You know what I'm saying? What we love, we laugh. And we learn how to live our best lives together. Tonight, man, we have an amazing guy that we have been knowing, man, ever since probably kindergarten, first grade,
kindergarten,
somewhere down off through there. You know what I'm saying? Our best friend for life. Again,
right.
Hey man, we're going to have some. Of course, make sure that you like, share, and follow the Xerox Twins social media. That's Xerox. Start with a Z and ends with a Z. Man, bro, we have been doing our thing, man. Boots on the ground.
Yes.
Much love and respect to all of you guys
who support us.
Man.
Most
of course, what we want you to do is do more about supporting and making sure that you share who we are, the likes, the love, the comments, right? And hey, Wednesday nights, we do the best live ever. If you know someone who needs to be on this show, or if you need to be here, make sure that
you do need to be here.
Exactly.
That's a must.
Right, because everybody have a story, and this is what we do.
Yeah.
We give it to you guys so that you can highlight your business, your resources, and what have you. And this is why we made this platform for you to do that as well. But bro, man, again tonight we have a friend of ours that's coming on. Of course, man, you know what? We don't introduce them, man. Why?
Man, we don't introduce them because they know themselves better than we know them.
Right. And hey, we're gonna show you guys a clip. Man, we're gonna show you why we revere this young man to the utmost. And hey, we're gonna let that go and let that ride right now.
Yes.
Scared of you. Scared of you. Scared of you. Scared of you.
Did you ever wonder if you ruined someone's life, Doc? I mean, like, really destroyed them.
Therapy can be difficult, but my goal has always been to help.
Help? You didn't help her. You locked her away.
Who are you talking about?
It's fascinating. The power you hold. I mean, just a few words from you and a person's whole world shifts. A diagnosis here, a prescription there, and suddenly they're not a person anymore. They're a problem to be managed.
That's not how this works. All right? My job is to treat, not to control.
Oh, but you do control. You get to decide who walks free and who gets locked behind padded walls. Who gets heard and who is simply dismissed as being delusional.
Lucas, if a patient is a danger to themselves, then...
You think you always get it right? You sit there in your chair, writing your notes, nodding like you really understand.
I don't.
You ever think about what happens after? When the session's over and the lights go out and they return to their empty rooms, to their pill bottles and
Not sure what happened.
There he is, man. Listen. Boy, look at here. Man, boy, you are quite the thespian if I ever known one, right?
Man.
Man, first of all, of course, family, we're here. Again, the best life ever. We love, we laugh, and we learn how to live our best lives together. Hey, man, we have on the set tonight our celebrity. Hey, bro, we don't introduce why, man.
Man, he know himself better than we know.
Man, listen.
Boy,
Again, I have to say that scene had me shaking, man. Quite the acting. Tell us who you are and why you're here.
let me tell you something that I like about that scene.
Uh-huh.
What I like most about the scene is it showed people walking as if you was in actual theater. You follow me? Like we're at the Lancaster Theater or the Poly Theater.
Right.
You follow me? I think that was very unique. It was awesome the way that you orchestrated that. But
Right.
along with that, man, let us know who you are, what you got going on.
And I am K.E. Durham, Funky Town, Texas, born and raised, 1220 East Bessie Street, Fort Worth, Texas. Graduate of Trimble Tech, 86, Prairie View A&M, 92. But long before that, me and these guys actually met when we were 6 years old. We were in the first grade. M.M. Walton High School. M.M. Walton Elementary School across the street from Dunbar.
Right.
I
man, I guess we kind of tell them, man, how we met, man. I think it was like you say, we
At that time, it was Rosedale Park.
right, because it changed while we were
there.
right. Brother, it might have changed after he got there. I'm not sure. It changed when we was in kindergarten. It changed when we was in the first grade.
We were in the first grade. My mom hadn't gotten home from work yet, and my dad wasn't able to come through that side of town and get me. So I needed to be somewhere because all the kids was let out of school and was going home. And Miss Harris, your mom, she was kind enough, to bring me over with the kids. And I don't know how they did it in the days without cell phones and pagers even.
Right. What happened, Kev, if you remember, we was having so much fun playing, you followed us home. And all of a sudden you say, oh, my dad is supposed to be coming to pick me up. And we like, and you like, I'm going to get a whooping, man. You was about in tears. And so we took you back to the house. Now, lo and behold, I don't know how your father found.
I don't know how.
How your father found the house. Maybe they said that he walked out with some twins or something. I'm not sure, but he came straight to the house, man, and my mom saved you from a whipping, man.
I think we might have went back up to the front of the school, and then after my dad met y'all mom that day, he knew where I was going to be. I think that's kind of how it happened.
Oh, it's like, okay then.
Yeah. And so he get me out
but
of that.
Man, of course, man, we've been the best of besties ever since.
God brothers.
Yes, ever since.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you grew up on the South Side. How did you end up at M.M. Walton with us in Stop 6, kid?
Well, I was one of those special cases where my dad was the responsible one and my mom wasn't so much. They were high school, sweethearts, sneaking home from school in the in the spring rather of their senior year, second half of their senior year, when I was planted. And so, but my mom, my dad ended up being, the more responsible one. So he took me from my mom when I was 3.
Oh, wow.
He literally kicked the door down to come and get me,
Wow.
And, my dad did stuff that was just surreal. I was down at Prairie View figuring out that the stuff that I had seen him do actually happened in real life, But yeah, that kicked the door down to come get me when I was 3. So my mom, I had just had my tonsils taken out at 6, and my mom came to get me to come stay with her. And for that 6 months or whatever months that was, that's when I had a chance to meet you guys and go to school with y'all and everything. And it wasn't 6 months later before I was back on Bessie Street again. So,
Oh, wow.
but
Wow,
yeah,
man, Bessie Street, man.
Wow.
Tell us a little bit about the South Side, man. We wasn't reared on that side, of course. You know, when we got a lot, you know,
Older.
we got older. We ended up over there and learning more about it. We used to ride the bus through the South Side to go downtown and the Tennyson and all that. Tell us a little bit about the upbringing over there, man. What was it like?
Man, Southside was different. You know, it wasn't all these apartments and stuff like that. None of that. It was blocks and houses and corner stores, and it felt more like a family environment because of the lack of apartments. The closest apartments to us was Butler Housing.
Wow. Okay.
So we didn't have no apartments around and stuff, you know. So it's like
Right.
neighbors knew each other, and you couldn't get away with nothing because the neighbors knew each other, you know, even
Right.
on the few blocks away and everything. And when your parents told you to do something, man, you did it. You know, there wasn't but a few renegade kids and stuff that went against the grain and everything. But, you know, you pretty much live, you know, if you had a decent family structure, you live to make your parents proud and stuff like that, you know. And so, of course, you had to get your grades, you know.
Okay.
And it was, you know, it
Right.
was Pee Wee League football. You know, I started playing, you know, football fully padded at the age of 8, 3rd grade. And that went all the way up through Meadowbrook Middle School and William James Meadowbrook Middle School, all the way up to Trimble Tech and into Prairie View. You know, playing football, you know, was a part of it. You know, you played basketball if you could make the team, stuff like that. And just being part of whatever activities the school had to offer. You were really trying to be a high achieving kid while you had a chance to be a kid back then. You know, you could make somebody quit. You know, we all had the paddle, you know, the board, you know, held by the coaches and all those practices and stuff to make sure, you know, we stayed on our P's and Q's, but you just couldn't make us quit. Because we wanted that Letterman's jacket, you know, we wanted to be able to drape our girlfriends in the Letterman jacket and walk through the hall with them and everything and stuff like that. And man, it was just it was challenging sometimes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. So now, you know, believe it or not, the South Side of Fort Worth is per capita is the highest murder rate. The less likely to live in the nation right now, man. Believe it or not. And of course, I'm not saying that the Fort Worth is becoming notorious again for the violence and what have you. Twin and I, of course, we stay grounded in what's going on. You being away from this environment and seeing other things, what would you say? Some of the tactics that we can use or needs to be implemented or used to be in order for us to turn this thing around.
Yeah, first give us the plight. You moved from what Prairie View, and then what was your
just to give you a little background, you know, the South Side, it had always kind of been like that. You know, you would be laying in bed, you know, any weeknight, and you pow, 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 pow. You know, and you're like, when it was the winter time and it was too cold for anybody to be outside acting, you'd be like, haven't heard no gunshots in a while. Pow, pow, oh, here I am. We're home. You know, you'd hear cats, you know, that stole a car or whatever, you know. And this wasn't all the kids. We just had some that was with the madness, you know, and you'd hear people, you know, running through the neighborhood, the cops behind them, you know, and you hear a screeching halt. The cat then jumped out the car and took off, and the cop can't find him, can't catch him and everything. They come get the car and tow it away. So you had stuff going on all the time. Around my senior year, 86, our senior year, you started to hear stuff, you know, that you didn't hear all the time. By the time 88 came, that's when this whole, you know, Crip and Blood thing moved in on Fort Worth, and we wasn't expecting that because the way we always lived, you know, you didn't get into it unless you had a direct funk with somebody. So my grandmother would be reading me newspaper articles and all this stuff all the time, you know. Somebody had a drive-by, and I was, oh, mama, now somebody done got into it with somebody, and it kept being story after story after story. And so, you know, I'll even go to college, you know, down in Hillsborough, go to junior college, you know, and come back, and then I go off to Prairie View in 89, you know, and what happened to the city was something that was just totally unfamiliar to us. We wasn't in no gang activity and stuff like that before they moved in on our territory.
Right.
Yeah, that was one thing we did miss, the gang activity. The
Oh,
reason why I
yeah.
said we missed it because we was out of high school at that time. You understand?
Mhm.
And we didn't get direct effect of it because we was going off to college. We was getting into our music and everything like that.
Right.
So,
But I mean, still, you know, still with the what I guess they consider the OGs now. Hell, they was our age.
But I would say, you know, during that time, you know, in 88, we did rank it like number 2 or 3 in the nation.
Right.
At one point, we had bounced up to number 1 for homicides.
Number 1, Murder Capital, right?
yeah, but
So, yeah.
I don't think that was the gang relation. There was the drug war.
But it was simultaneously. It was the drugs and the gangs almost simultaneously because of that.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, people coming down from other parts of the nation and bringing that the behavior here.
When I graduated from Prairie View A&M, I went. I got my first professional job and everything, and every day after work, I would go over to Trimble Tech, and eventually, Coach Robinson, who the field is named after, you know, now, he made me aware of a few things. I used to wonder, I'm like, how in the hell did Trimble Tech go down in football? You know, we were a powerhouse, you know. And I found out that there were a lot of boys, you know, in the hallway and everything that could actually play, but they weren't like we were. Because, you know, there is a letter that one of the guys from Bone Thugs and Harmony just made public about how the record industry decided to invest in the private prison industry and to no longer, you know, promote anything other than gangster rap. And so the music began to shape the kids. And we wanted to be part of the school activity and do something, you know, with the school before we graduated. I found out when I came over and started, you know, coaching at Tech in 92, 93, I found out that these boys and stuff that in the hallway could play, but they were too busy trying to be grown instead of being a kid while they had a chance to be a kid, because this music and everything is now influencing them to have grown man stuff before they became grown men, you know what I'm saying? And so that's part of the problem. You know, when I look at an issue, I always go back to the furthest point of reference. Now, I ask myself, you know, would these boys be out here trying to be grown and getting into criminal activity if we still had our Black Wall Streets? See, because when you have your own financial institutions, your Tulsa, Oklahomas, you know, your Rosewood, Floridas, your Wilmington, North Carolina, you know, your Mink Slide, and places where we were doing good before jealousy had them folks come in and crush everything. Into all of this criminal activity or trying to do something, you know, outside of just be regular, normal, you know, reliable people. But the positions that we put in. So when you start asking about what can we do, however it got this way, we would have to reverse it and take it back.
Yeah, while you're speaking about that, it reminds me when we started getting bust right there in the early 70s from our home, past our local schools to another school across town. you know, and when we got bused into the more dominant Caucasian schools.
Mhm.
And, you know, along with that, they took the pedals the pedals from the coaches at that time because they didn't want, because we were switching students, you understand, the Caucasians came over here and we went over there, then they didn't want the original man peddling their Caucasian children. You
Well,
follow me?
the corporal punishment didn't go out until the 90s. And that's the reason why you could always tell a kid what to do. But when the 90s came along, you know, there was a couple of things that happened. Our senior year, you know, Ross Perot's Proposition 72 came in where it took the D out of the grading scale. And so whereas things was way more competitive until they took the D out of the grading scale, now you've taken so many athletes out of the process that you have to play with what you got. And now you can't put the pressure on these boys because they'll quit. You know what I'm saying? And so that happened. Yeah, I remember being bused, you know, to elementary school way off in Riverside. And then, you know, finally over to Meadowbrook, you know, before we end up going to Tech, you know, close to us, you know. And like you asked, like, how was it on the South Side? Well, on the South Side, you know, like I know, you know, back when we was growing up, you didn't see no other race of people in your neighborhood. You had black people on the South Side all the way back to Forest Hill, you know, those who could afford to, you know, get in Forest Hill back then. You had, you know, white people on the far east and west, and then you had the Mexicans on the north. And you didn't even see anybody come in your neighborhood unless it was the newspaper or the insurance collection fee.
Right. Exactly.
And after that, if you even saw somebody of different nationality in the car together, like if you saw a black, you know, dude in the car, you know, with a white woman or something, they could have been colleagues, you know, co-workers and everything. You'd be like, ooh, nigga, you better hurry up and get out of there. You know, that was the feeling we had because we didn't see nobody else in our neighborhood, right?
Exactly. Right. There was no chief going on.
We was growing up all the way to college and everything. There wasn't no interracial dating or none of that stuff, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, everything back home has really changed, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, Pip, I know that one man's conspiracy is another man's strategic plan. And I know that it's systematically set up for things to happen the way that they do. And it's hard to get people to understand that the system is working. And it just because it's working against us, but it is because it was designed to work against us. So again, we are in the midst of a lot of gun violence. I know that you've been in other areas and what have you, and you saw the gentrification. We spoke about that.
Yeah,
you were talking about the gentrification and how it happens and what have you. Tell us a little bit about that, living in Oakland and what was it like for you living, you know, so long as well?
Yeah. When I moved to Oakland, California in 97, it still had the Oakland culture and everything. And I was there, you know, when the hyphy movement, you know, popped up. And I tell you, I've been around the world, you know, Norway, UK, you know, Denmark, Southern Germany, Brazil. Man, there's nothing like, you know, FBA, you know, people, you know, foundational Black American people, of which what we are. And the hyphy movement is one of the coolest, most original, irreplaceable things that FBAs have you know, created. And man, Oakland was man, it was black, right? San Francisco was very white. They were mirror images of each other until 9/11 happened. the Embarcadero over in San Francisco. As soon as you get off the city train, you know, into the financial district of San Francisco, you see, you know, white men and women, you know, going back and forth to, you know, their lunch break and then back into the office in their suits and their dresses and everything. And you would see the same thing over in the city center in Oakland, you know, brothers and sisters in their nice attire, you know, suit and dress, going between buildings for lunch and everything and back in. And I mean, it was equal. It was cool. And then 9/11 happened. And I think Governor Jerry Brown came in and they had a plan and it just happened everywhere. You know, Katrina in New Orleans was one big gentrification move in one shot.
Wow.
I had, you know, an associate I knew who was, you know, family from New Orleans, and his brother's working on the water department. And, you know, it was asking, can we turn this valve and let this water out, you know? And their management told them, you just go home and prepare your families. So they knew what was, you know, what was being orchestrated. And that was one big gentrification move, because in New Orleans, you had 3 and 4 generations of homeowners there. Like the longest, you know, succession of Black homeowners in the country was in New Orleans. But they found oil on the coast of New Orleans, and they didn't want to bring that oil money into the city where you got guys averaging dropping out in the 9th grade. How much would that have done for their education? How many more jobs and everything would that had invented, created for the people that was there? So it was one big gentrification move and one natural disaster. And then I saw the same thing happen to Oakland. In 2018, in the beginning of the year, we came outside, and all of a sudden you saw brothers and sisters on the bridges everywhere, and tents, you know, makeshift tents, you know, like camping tents and stuff put up all over the place. And then people in their trucks and their cars and RVs and everything just parked up under the bridges and freeways and stuff. And so me and my co-producer, Ricardo Love, Black Nova, we were getting ready to start performing. We had been in the lab, you know, making whole albums, you know, for a few years prior. And 2018 was our jump out year. And he was playing Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. And I started singing the words, and the words didn't really connect. I didn't really feel the words, because that was, you know, Bob Marley's experience. But I started looking around and I started rewriting No Woman, No Cry. And I made it about this whole gentrification situation that we were seeing. And I started out talking about Oakland. And then I looked abroad and I heard what they was trying to do, you know, to Harlem and these other places and LA and the whole bit. And I just ended up going international with the pen. And I was sitting in the control room one day, train control room at Oakland Airport Connector, and I got a call from the Cayman Islands. We filmed it in January of 2018, and we released it on Bob Marley's birthday, February 6th. And yeah, I got a call from the Cayman Islands, the people who own the rights to that record. I guess they thought it was a major record label, and this was going to blow up and become an international thing. But when they saw we were independent, I couldn't even get in contact with them to get the rights and everything. And that's what you find out about music in particular. Doesn't matter how good your music is, what you've done, how great your videos are, or none of that stuff. There's something called a promotional package, and it costs exponentially to promote the product that you just created, more than what it costs for you to create it. And if you don't have $200,000 plus merchandising, you're not going to make any money off your song. You know, it will have to go viral, you know, or something like that in order for you to get something back off of it. But that's the game. It's $200,000. And a lot of cats knew that from the beginning. That's why you always had either a rich uncle sponsor something, or if people were lucky enough to get an endorsement from somebody that was already on the inside doing well, or it was your dope man's pockets.
Ain't that something? Yeah. Believe it or not, I remember, Kev, believe it or not, man, you were the first one to tell me that Jesus was black. And I looked at my phone. I said, man, this man done went crazy. But again, and again, this is how we have been directed even in our so-called religion as well.
Religious aspect.
Yeah, right. From the education, the religion, and what have you. But I remember you telling me that, and how it was so far-fetched that I didn't receive it at that time. But I want to ask you a little bit about your music career. Okay, of course, you know we're the Xerox Twins, man. And boy, listen, don't nobody know our music better than you do, man. Tell us a little bit about your music career.
My music career started with y'all.
Okay.
Y'all had the 4-song EP, and y'all were working on it. You know, Jonesy J was there, you know, on the turntables, and Cream, the keyboard queen, was there.
Right.
Wow.
And I stopped by one day after work, and y'all was stuck on a song, and I came up with a bass line, and Cream played it, you know, perfectly. And then I got to thinking, well, maybe I can help. You know, I was writing poetry to my girlfriend. I wouldn't write those songs or nothing, you know. And so I wrote a rhyme, and it was pretty heavy content. You know, it's kind of political. And I brought it back to y'all, and you say, man, this is good stuff, but we don't do songs like this, man, you know. And so I took it back home, and I was like, well, this is too good just to let it go. And then, you know, I rarely do anything for nothing at all. So I started studying the rhyme, and then I could do a line. Then I could do 2 lines. Then I got to the point where I could do 4 lines, and it basically started me to rapping, you know.
Okay.
And then I went off to Prairie View, and that's where I really started, you know, writing. You know, I had broken up with my girlfriend. Well, she broke up with me after 5.5 years, you know, from Central Tech through my time at Prairie View, and she went off to North Texas. She got to North Texas. That's where she broke off with me. And so all those poems and stuff turned into some sobby, you know, heartbroken, you know, ballads and stuff. And then, but I was still writing the rap, you know, and man, I got pretty proficient at it. By the time I was going to my senior year at Prairie View, that summer, I got a letter saying that I was second best rapper on campus. And so when I came back my senior year, they wouldn't let me on any talent shows because they were afraid of what I was going to say. So when my political science instructor got wind of, you know, all these slots coming open on talent show, but they wouldn't let me get on, he walked me to the department head of the political science department, and they sponsored me to go about doing reparation conferences and all. And that was Dr. Imari Abubakari Obadella, the first president of the Republic of New Africa, Jackson, Mississippi, 1968. He was a political prisoner for 5 years, did nothing to nobody, just was showing people, you know, Black people how to get their sovereignty and independence. And so, but yeah, they sponsored me, and I went to Atlanta and did a radio show in front of X-Clan, man, and Professor X and Brother J loved me. They gave me their 1-800, you know, pager number and everything. And Paradise, who made all the music for X-Clan, he was hitting on, you know, my girlfriend, not knowing it was my girlfriend. When he found out the second day, I guess he was kind of embarrassed. So when I was calling, you know, to hook up with him, because they wanted to fly me up and everything, he stopped taking the call, and he was the link.
Wow.
So that's how I missed getting with X-Clan.
Ain't that
Then Brother Chokwe Lumumba, who was one of the 3 that started the Republic of New Africa down in 68 with my professor, Dr. Obadella, he was representing Tupac in that New York rape case, you know, thing. So he gave Tupac's number to Dr. Obadella to give to me. And so I called Pac, and he was in Marin at that time. somebody answered the phone, man, and they wouldn't give him the phone. And so, I had called back again, trying to catch him, just trying to see if I can, and never caught him. And, I know that if Pac had a chance to have one conversation with me, and I'd have bust for him like I did in front of X-Clan in Atlanta, yeah, I'd have probably been dead with him. So, and so
yeah, that's all right. So
I never wrote as fast as Pac did. He was proficient, with his production, but the potency of what I was writing and what I've written, definitely. Right now to this day, they have banned Black Nova's Kaepernick video from YouTube. You can, I took it down there and put it up on a private link, and they shut it down. They shut my whole channel down because of this Kaepernick video.
Wow.
And so, which is funny because there was a couple of other ones up there that's, but
this is good, huh?
yeah, that one must have had something in it that they didn't want, Black people to see. So, and so, when you go and see we do all genres of music, me and my producer, Ricardo Love, mainly R&B. We have 3 R&B albums that we got to get out of our hands. We have a rock album and a rock concert, the Walk of the Caveman concert. We have a blues album, now that we're married, the Bessie Street Blues, and an adult song, an album in an adult contemporary, I Love You Like I Love Brazil, that has some songs in bossa nova on it. So me and my man, Ricardo, Gregory Love, Black Nova is the most dynamic and diverse duo music production team in the history of music.
Wow.
That sounds bold to say. We just broke, man. If you ever sit down and listen to our catalog and everything, you'd be amazed to hear this nice, poetic adult contemporary song, Little Miss Magic, you'll find on Black Nova Topics. And then you come back and hear something like Aries Moon, this, screaming rock song, you just wouldn't think it was the same group, and everything we do in between. And all the lyrics have, meaning to life,
Right.
Don't do anything for the sake of I can make sound, I've never written a rhyme for the sake, there are not a whole bunch of metaphors and similes and saying nothing. It's a lot of that.
Yeah. But I'm with you though, Kev, man. I believe that music is music. I don't know why we break them down in the genres and take away from the art, because it limits people from listening to the art itself, trying to deal with just one a genre by itself, or individualize what music is when music is universal.
Well, genres are okay. Because certain types of music really are that different away from these other types of music. The problem is people. Most people, they pigeonhole themselves. Most people, you can't give them too much. Their minds are not that expansive. Now, right. I know people want to say, this dude is just talking crap about people. Who did he think he is? Man, look at here. All you got to do is really just stop and witness people, right? First thing, there are more mindless listeners than there are attentive, active listeners. What I mean by that is this. The average person listens to a song for the beat first.
Right.
And might hear a song 2 or 3 times before they really realize what the song is saying. Most people don't hear the beat and get the content at the same time.
Right.
Most people don't want to. Why? Because most people seek entertainment to escape the thought of their common, uneventful, mundane life. You can't even call a documentary these days if you want people to watch it. You have to call a documentary a movie, or else people won't watch it because people don't want nothing to think about.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you have to have, these divisions, and you can't give people too much. I was just talking to the head of the Las Vegas Black Film Festival about a couple of months back. And I'm wondering why I'm reaching out, not too much, but I'm reaching out and I can't get any answer from her. I can't get no response or nothing. I'm like, I got introduced to her through a very, very reliable source. Well, my mistake was I told her about all the things that I'm doing. I published a book in the summer of 2024. I have a bomb podcast, The Hidden Thought Show. I've done all of this music. I've shot all of these music videos and everything, and we've produced all of these albums. I'm sorry that I'm so talented that I confused you. KE is all over the place. No, KE just has a plethora of talents. I could probably do a few more things, you know what I'm saying? It's just I've never had a team, and I've never had any financial backing. We'd all be rich right now. Oh, I have a cartoon that I'm developing, where I got a core group of kid actors that are fantastic. We've already recorded, a few audio shows, and this cartoon is a career training program, a career awareness program for elementary school kids. Why? Because I run across too many 14 and 15-year-olds that I ask, what are you going to do for a career? And they have not a single idea. Let's it be a computer gamer, basketball player, football player, entertainer, a dancer, or something like that. And those are all things that are contingent upon the observer's taste. Everybody might not want you to dance for them. They might not like your rapping, So, if that be the case, what else solid can you do with your own hands and your own mind that will earn you a plate of food if nobody is responsible for giving you one once you get past a certain age, right? And so if a kid don't have a single idea, you ask, what are you going to do for a career? And they don't even know what the word career really means. And you get all this silence, and their parent is standing next to them. I've even run across kids who have both parents in the house, and the father had a business and he didn't know anything about his father's business. Is it the kid's fault? No. The father hadn't pulled him aside and say, here, son, learn this. So you'll always have this. Now you can go off and do whatever you want to do after you get this, but I'm going to make sure you get this. My wife's son does not use sign language interpreting, but she made him learn. She made him stop talking and sign to her across the room, and she signed to him to make sure. So she handed him her trade, whether he want to use it or not. The dad has been there the whole time, super supportive and everything, come to all the events, but he's a mechanic. He's built computers with his own bare hand. My wife's son was 19 years old, and he got a flat and didn't know how to change his tire.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a lot of boys out there like that nowadays because the ball's been dropped. The kid is a reflection of the household that released them out into the street. So and that's all on people. Y'all probably saw that video, and I had it on my show, on my show, the Hidden Thought Show. No one wants to be the lesser representation of self. If we could all be perfect, we would just be perfect. And there was a young lady upstate who ran over a car in a gas station and ran out into the street and flipped the car over. Now, people would say, well, she's grown, but no, she grown. Man, look at here, man. Everybody is somebody's child. And you will only display out amongst people and out in the public, and when you visit people's home or when you go out to dinner or be involved in some process, you can only exercise what's been instilled in you. So the reason why I'm doing this cartoon is because I run across too many people who don't have an idea how they're going to take care of themselves, and so that they don't end up being like me. say, well, what the hell are you talking about? Don't end up being a 58-year-old man with a bachelor's degree, right? Who has all of this international experience, who has to wait for people to give them an opportunity to serve them, to get
Right.
some money back, to feed oneself, and to stay indoors. If through watching this cartoon, these kids can figure out for themselves what they naturally gravitate to figure out how they're going to take care of themselves, so that by the time they get in middle school, they know the difference between a mechanical engineer and a civil engineer, and they can get to the point where coming out of middle school, they're getting some training, some hands-on, and get to the point where they graduate in high school and getting certified and can use their community as a client base, serving a purpose that absolutely must be done. This is the biggest work that I've done, in my life,
Right. Yeah. I think I think what I was trying to intervene and let you know, they have taken shop away from our students. We
Yeah.
used to have a metal shop, wood shop. You follow me? We even had auto mechanic shop inside of the schools. You understand? They
Yeah.
taken shop out, and now when we are grown and we outside and not in school anymore, we don't know where the workshop is. You
Yeah.
follow me?
See, they
And so
moved all of those things out of the school.
everything has been moved. Yeah,
special
moved away
programs
from us.
like Hill College and special training program. They took it out of the school so that
Took it
you could
out.
get grown, come out of school, and have to pay for what you would have gotten in school.
Right. Yes. And you were just talking about in the community. Just imagine if, when I was in school, just imagine if I learned how to lay bricks, right? I can go from house to house and build mailboxes out of brick from house to house down every street. You follow what I'm saying? That right there would put food on my plate. So we didn't get away from it. It was taken from us without us realizing it was taken from us. And now we have to find it somewhere, somehow, with these students that don't want to be students anymore because it's boring.
Well,
And so now,
well,
so now the recreation, like Twin would say, is amongst one another. And that's hurting one another.
let's start from the beginning. I went to Trimble Tech. Trimble Tech got everything. You named a few. Man, we had everything. Auto mechanics, diesel repair, small engine repair, tool shop where you make the tools you even work with, brick masonry, ceramics, electronics, electrical work, healthcare occupations, engineering, drafting, commercial arts, cosmetology. I mean, we be naming, and I know there's a few more.
It was a technical school, yeah.
But now let's look at this. You could have all of that stuff available to you and be emotionally wrecked. Because the two people that made you, they were split before you even knew they was together. Mom and you over here, dad's over there, or vice versa. You got a lot of people, our parents had no plan for us to be here in the first place. So they did the 4 basic things to make sure that they took care of their responsibilities. They put a roof over our head, put some clothes on our back, made sure we wasn't starving, and made sure we went to school because that was the law, right?
Right.
Now, after that, your parents wasn't coming to your games. Your parents, you had to damn near get in trouble for them to have to show up at the school or something like that. You came home to a secure home and a meal and everything, but who you were, your parents ain't know. They just can't wait till you get 18, boy, so you can get out here and figure out what it is you're supposed to be.
Right.
Out here in this world that's, got a target on young black men's back. And so I'm saying that to say, even with all the trades at your availability, you say, how do we reverse this thing? Number one, we reverse it by people not having kids before they have decided that they're each other's best friend for real, for real. It's so commonplace and so expected that after people get pregnant, somebody's going to end up separating and going, their separate ways. And now you're co-parenting from afar and all this irregularity and stuff like that. And people ain't paying attention to the kids, who they are. You mentioned the zodiac. Hey, man, a cat and a dog, you got a pet. When that cat and dog die, you get another cat and dog. They don't have the personality of the first cats and dogs. So if we know that our animals have behavior like that, so do we. And nobody pays attention to our energy, so they can't figure out why in the world will he do this? Why will he do? You ain't paying no attention to him in the first place, and you sure don't know their energy, so you don't even know how to shape and mold their energy for their success. So when you start talking about how do we reverse it? I mean, you could start from the ass end of the donkey and try to turn him around by the tail, or you could put a brattle in his mouth, and lead him off where you're trying to get him to go, But this whole thing, man, about people just having kids, man, and this it's not just pertaining to Black people. White people get divorced and stuff like that too, and their kids be messed up. And even rich people, that's got a house so big they don't know what the kid doing in the other side of the house. People really don't pay attention to their kids. So when the kid leaves the house with a incomplete sense of confidence. So we go out here trying to figure out, like they say, what it is we supposed to be, or what we have to add to ourselves in order to feel like somebody. And that's where all the extra stuff comes from. Man, that dude is extra. Yeah, he trying to feel like somebody. And you can't figure it out because nobody ain't gave you answers. So you smoke something, you drink something to try to I remember being a teenager sitting thinking and feel like I just wanted to jump out of my skin because I had questions in my mind and stuff that nobody had answered, and I didn't think I had nobody I could ask.
Wow.
And so how many are feeling like that, but they don't have the gift to be able to express what they're actually feeling? And that's the reason why my first book, Snakes and Snails, is riveting when people read it. Because I take you back, to I actually wrote it to be a tell-all to women about men. I take people on a journey of what it's like to be a male child from the age of 3 all the way to adulthood, and the challenges that we be encountering that girls would never and women would never imagine. They got their own wiring and their own way of being, right? And they are the number one object of our affection. Women, men rule the planet, women rule a man's universe. I had it on my first album, the Happy Sad Song album, written because it's true. Most of what we do to impress girls first and then women. It's only when we get to the point where we feel like we can't impress a woman no matter what we do, that to hell goes with the world. At that point, we'll blow the earth up under our own feet.
You
got it.
Well, Caleb, tell us a little bit about homegrowing and what have you. Brothers, sisters, you got siblings. You know what I'm saying? You're married. That type of deal. Give us a little insight on your family group.
Your basic home.
Yeah, well, a lot of things I write about in these books and everything are things that I've experienced or witnessed right up close. I'm the oldest of 7. I grew up in the house like the only child because my father had kids with, of course, 3 other women. And so me and my siblings, we got to know each other as we was growing up as kids, but we didn't spend no time together. We basically got to know each other best right around the time of my father's passing, February 1st, 2007. I've outlived him by a year now. And You know, people, the elements that we're born under, if they're, either the same or they complement each other, then you'll be glad to see folks. But brothers and sisters, if you're born under opposing elements, you love each other, but you might not like each other very much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me and all my brothers and sisters, we get along pretty good. I would say, except for a couple. One's testy and the other one thinks that I'm an idiot. So we don't waste each other's time or nothing like that. But if an emergency happened, of course, we would be there. But
Right.
yeah, as far as marriage goes, it has been wonderful, and it has been a lesson also.
Right.
You stay married long enough, and as long as everything is going great, man, it'll be great. You let a twist of fate happen, and you fall, on your ass for a second. A man, he'll take a woman working behind the counter at McDonald's, especially the way she look in her pants, what I'm saying? He'll love her up, and as long as she, is willing to cook at home, and she makes good love, and she has a, congenial personality, a man will, take the McDonald's job. Matter of fact, he'll take it without the McDonald's job, to have that type of peace, and everything. But a man don't get that kind of grace.
Right.
If your finances happen to flip upside down, or you fail to produce over a period of time, while you're trying to get your bearings back under you or something, you will find out that there's no romance without finance. You will come to an understanding that the only thing that a man can't be is broke.
Is broke.
And fail to produce. You don't get that type of grace,
Right.
And so, marriage can be a really wonderful thing if you got, a mate that, that really likes you. See, love grows over time. You got family members and stuff, that you love them, but you don't like this one,
Right.
They do some things, and hey, okay, yeah, what you need? All right, you family here, man, but yeah, get on with the rest of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so people can love, love you without really liking you, and vice versa. And the older you get, the more you learn that friends become like family, and people gravitate towards, complementing energy, and they start to repel, dislike energy, even if it's in the same house.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, y'all gonna love the Now That We're Married Bessie Street Blues album. You're gonna love it.
Wow. I want to ask you, first of all, I want to commend you and thank you. I remember giving you, giving my, John Lawrence. John Lawrence was the one that drove the Kicking Ass on the Kicking Ass record. When Twin and I did our album back in the mid-80s. Huh?
Dopest album cover ever. I couldn't stop laughing, man. It was a hell of a concept.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I remember hooking you guys up. He was ill, and he had some problems out there. I don't think they even knew what was going on with him. And man, listen, he was taking I want to say in the 20-something different medicines or something, if I'm not mistaken. Last I talked to him, when I talked to him lately, he said he was down to probably one, and he had got rid of, so you help him get rid of so many ailments and illness and what have you. Tell us a little bit about that which you do, that which you know. And not only that, you and I talked a little bit about the stars and dealing with what you call it,
Zodiac.
The zodiacs and all that. Tell us a little bit about those two aspects of your life and what it means, not only just to you, but to why it's so imperative or important to you as well.
Yeah, I just so happen to be fortunate enough, man, to have encountered two of the best natural healers on the planet, and all I've done, since I, bumped into them in Prairie View on my birthday in 1990, on October 17th. Sunshine, who had the shop down in Houston, he did iridology on me and told me something that was going on inside my body that only I knew. And he handed me my first 3 colon cleansers and told me to go back to my room and drink a gallon of water that night. And I did. And the next morning I got up and I went to the pot 3 rapid times. And all of a sudden I was able to breathe more clearly than I ever remember being able to breathe before in my life. And then I knew something had been wrong all the rest of the time, because my nose is pretty small. So I thought, nasal passage is small. That's just all this struggling to breathe. That's just what it is. And it wasn't, it was all the white flour and the white rice and all of this stuff that had been whole grain that had been stripped and made, and bleached to be made white and light and easier to cook with and faster to cook with. And basically it was just making paste, in the nasal cavities. Like when we were in the first grade, you guys might remember this. In first and second grade, we used to make paste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The main ingredients was white flour, cornstarch, water, some heat. And so you made paste, plaster. So now when you think about every white flour, stuffed crust pizza, French loaf, donut, croissant, all this stuff is white flour. Biscuits, all this stuff is white flour. Hot dog bun, hamburger buns is going in here, making paste in the intestine. And each one of your humps in the intestine goes to a different part of your body, it feeds a different part of your body. Mm-hmm. And when there's traffic on the freeway and it's blocking off your eyes, well, now the eyesight starts to go bad. You do a colon cleanse and get you some carrot juice down off in there or something like some Eye Bright. And now all of a sudden, where you had a prescription, you got to take your glasses off now because you see better.
Wow.
And this has been happening, for a few people I've known all the way down the line, just encountering a few guys on this job that I was on, they went through the cleanse and one of them got their eyesight back the same way, one of the others started losing, all this excessive weight and everything. I just pinching off of what the elders gave me, man. And that's just for those who ask. Most people, they know what I do, but they don't ask because they think I'm gonna tell them to give up stuff. You don't have to give up everything. You just have to swap one thing off for another.
Well, no.
If women love cheese, right? That's why they always coming up with lumps in the breast and fibroid tumors and stuff like that. Well, you do a cleanse. You use the vegetarian cheese, Daiya, is one I use, Daiya, you may have to swap some things out, instead of eating the whole beef patty, you might want to try Beyond Meat or field roast or something, But when people, is, stuck on that, well, this ain't real meat. People love,
right.
Love.
And criticize their health, right?
Yeah.
All I ever try to get people to do is just to have a colon cleanse. Even if you don't change your eating habits, you got to take the garbage out periodically and do an oil change. You do it for your car. You don't think you have to do it for all while your stomach is sticking way out here.
Right.
And when you talk about a colon cleanse, the average person, am I going to be on the toilet all day?
Right.
You look like Alfred Hitchcock. You don't think you need to be on the toilet all day? One thing to save your life. And unfortunately, back home where you guys are,
right,
we losing classmate after classmate after classmate. they look at me like the witch doctor and all this stuff, man. Hey, I ain't trying to get you to change everything. Just get that garbage out, man. Clear your arteries out so you won't have a heart attack or stroke. And they just don't do it. And
Yeah,
then
I think,
stroke.
yeah, that's what I used to tell people all the time. You're not overweight, you're overwaste. And
That's
the waste is what's in your colon. The colon cleansing, I think that's the number one thing that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
At a certain age, and then from then after every so many years.
I've had 3-year-old kids that were constipated, and had to have their parent give them a tablespoon of olive oil and chase it with some lemon right quick and make them drink water. And the next morning they were, I can't believe it. They went. Yeah, because we're eating all these dead fiberless foods,
Right.
All of these, we eat an assortment of dead animals in a year.
Right.
You call it shrimp, you call it, ham, you call it this, that, and the other, but all of these are dead body parts. And the dead don't move. That's why it takes 6 persons to take one person to a graveyard. So now these 6 people, they done moved that one dead body. Who moves all the dead bodies that we have inside? We don't. We just keep putting them in. And then when you get that 24-hour stomach virus or the stomach flu, it's because all of these festering dead body parts,
right,
still in here, done made a stew. And now you sick as hell. You got chills and all kinds of stuff because your body's trying to get this shit out some kind of way because it's time to you didn't get it out. So now the body's trying to get it out. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, I remember I wrote one thing that says humans were living graves for dead animals. Tell me a little bit about your elders. I think you was telling me some time ago that it was like 3 with I think Dr. Sebi or a few of them that had made an agreement or something, and I think he was in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. You was telling me something about him when I was introducing you to John way back then. We spoke, and you got a site as well that they can get your medicine. Tell me a little bit about those individuals that hit you on to which you know.
Yeah, the guy who I encountered down in Houston at Prairie View, Sunshine, Burgess Bourgeois Jr. He met Dick Gregory when Burgess Bourgeois, Sunshine, was working at NASA. I didn't know he had been until his funeral services. I didn't know that he had been a fighter pilot, a trailer, in the Air Force, and when he came out and he went to college and he became an electronics engineer and he worked for NASA and everything. And he bumped into Dick Gregory. It came to NASA to speak, and Dick Gregory got aggravated and was about to leave, and he went and got him and brought him back in. And as he got to know Dick Gregory, he found out about Dr. Paul Goss, who owns Newbody, has his own proprietary blend that I've been using for the last 35 years. When Sunshine found out about Dr. Goss and went through the cleanse, he was so astounded that he just wanted to help everybody. And so in 83, after years of working for NASA, he retired from NASA. He left his job and opened up his own Newbody shop. And that's where I got familiar with him. Dr. Goss, he was born in Atlanta and raised in Tennessee. And elders used to send him out into the bushes to go and bring, herbs to them. And they taught him how to put, herbs in their combination and everything. And then as he got to be a young man, he went off to a school in Alabama and became a chemist and worked for the government as a chemist for a number of years. When he left the government as a chemist, with his savings, he went to California to buy some land. And the state official said, now, we'll never give a nigga that much land here in California.
Mm.
That's how he
Well,
ended up in Arizona. He took his savings and went and bought, um, hundreds of acres down here and put a complex on it where people could come and heal and everything. Um, and it's this whole thing that you were talking about, as far as like the zodiac, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all relevant. Sunshine birthday is April 5th, Aries. Dick Gregory is Libra, like me. On the
Like us.
zodiacal wheel,
Right.
Libra and Aries are facing each other across the wheel. Air and fire. Where there is no air, there's no fire. So the wind feeds the fire, and the fire warms or inspires the air. They're zodiacal tango partners. They fit each other like gear teeth, fit each other. And so Dr. Goss is Aquarius. That's air, the air sign organizer. So here's Sunshine, fire, Dr. Goss, air. And when I tell you they were like left and right shoe, they were so much together on their mission, even though Doc, Goss stayed in Compton, with his business and everything. And he had business in Atlanta, had his daughter running that. But with Sunshine being in Houston, man, Sunshine would just show up on the land down there in Arizona. It just flew in, you know what I'm saying? They were so much like left and right shoe until Dr. Goss left us August 1st, 2021. July, the middle of July 2022, Sunshine exited.
Wow.
I'm like, you two dudes, man, they couldn't do without each other. They got up and left here together.
Ain't that something?
that's right. Yeah,
Right.
you mentioned about the land. A lot of people don't realize it. 40 acres in a mule. The 40 acres was exactly what you said. They're not going to sell you over 40 acres. That's what the 40 acres in the mule actually meant. It's not they're going to give you 40 acres in the mule. It's not. We're not going to sell no colored, no more than 40 acres. And if they get close to that 40 acres, we just throw the mule in. And the mule is something that don't reproduce. So once it dies off, that's it. So
It was,
yeah.
it was partially a trick out the gate, but it didn't matter because
Right. Yeah.
you
Hey,
know
man, of
they're
course, we're here. The best live ever we got. You know what I'm saying? Our longtime friend, Mr. Kevin Durham here. Hey, man, what we love, we laugh, and we learn how to live our best lives together. Make sure that you like, share, and follow all the Xerox Twins social media, and we're going to let Kev give his as well. But, Kev, before we do that, we want to know, man, what got you into acting? And because we know that, with you're in the music scene, man, you do so much of everything. What got you into acting and some of the movies and stuff that you played in, how we could find you?
when I moved to Oakland in '97, by January of '98, I'd have been advised to go and to this talent agency, and they told me about the Black Repertory Theater of Oakland, and I went there and got into a play. It was Ishmael Reed's Gethsemane Park, where I played Beelzebub, the devil. And then the second time around at the Lorraine Hansberry Theater during the second year run over in San Francisco up off Sutter Street, I was Beelzebub's associate number one. And so there were movie producers in Oakland that were shooting some of their first film and everything, and people that I knew that knew them, that I'd met at the agency myself earlier. When they got wind of them doing their movies, they told them about me, and what they had seen of me on stage and everything. And so they invited me, to a cold reading, and I went cold reading after cold reading and got major part after major part. And so in Oakland, I was in 4 movies, 5. Wow, forgot about that one. And 3 plays, actually 4 plays. And so by the time we, then I, connected with Ricardo Love again in 2013, and we started, doing the music production, everything. By 2022, I shut the apartment down on New Year's Eve, going into 2022. And Ricardo, he came out to Las Vegas, where one of his daughters was and everything, and established himself here. A year and a half later, me and the wife moved here. And so I went to a convention, and I had a feeling the convention wasn't going to turn out being worth a damn, and it wasn't. But there was one sister there, a Candace Forshee, and she was working security there, and she was like, "Hey, I act. I'm in movies." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And so I'm like, "Damn, I did movies too. I'm really interested in this and everything." And so she gave me a link to the People's Network, TPN1.com. And when I got there, she said, "Hey, sign up for the newsletter. They'll be sending auditions." And so I did just that. And it wasn't a week. They sent an audition. I was like, cool. I was like, okay, let me go over here. I might not get picked or whatever and everything, but I got to go show my face, everything. So the day that I went on that audition for Her Last Patient, what they do is they send you a post in an email, and then you see the script and you find a character and you go read for the character, And so it was Lucas Morningstar there and everything. And I got his lines, and 3 days before I went, I studied it, locked it in. And that movie Dancing in September, where the boy, remembered all those lines and threw the script away. He didn't need the paper. I've tried to mimic that behavior in all of my readings, to where I don't need the script, in front of my hands to read, because they just expect you just to read to them so they can see that you can get into the action. And I don't read very fast.
Oh, wow.
I got a bachelor's degree and all that stuff, but my reading speed is remedial, so I have to remember. So I threw, the paper away. And someone told me that day, I was like, I feel like dressing in black, all black. Man, I did the whole black thing, like in that scene that you see, and I came in and I ran the lines and I got the part immediately. What I didn't know until after we finished filming the movie is that I had beat out guys from all over the country for that role. Guys from Houston, guys from Atlanta, guys from Detroit, Philly, all around the place. So I guess I must have really had an impact with that particular character. So when I got into a second movie, Bloodline Betrayal, which is on Tubi right now, I wanted to play the opposite character of Lucas Morningstar. So I played a very naive, clueless husband, named Thomas in Bloodline Betrayal, just so you could see the dynamic difference between this clueless guy and this guy that was very much the devil.
Yeah. So Kev, I know it's getting beyond the hour. Think about one of your favorite lines or whatever. Do you do a lot of ad-lib? Think about one of your favorite lines. I guess we want to hear that. But tell us how to find you. Some of your movies and whatever.
Yeah, for acting, you can find me at K.E. Dorham, KEDORHAM.com. That's for acting. Email me at k.e.dorham@kedorham.com. That's the email. For music, YouTube, Black Nova Entertainment. You will see a plethora of my video works and hear, a lot of our songs and get a chance to get into the lyrics and everything of the songs. For Those who are thinkers and not afraid to think, give the Hidden Thought Show a chance. YouTube, the Hidden Thought Show. No S, no hidden thoughts. The Hidden Thought Show. See Snakes and Snails, where I describe why I end up writing the book Snakes and Snails that I published in the summer of 2024. And I think that might be enough.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Give us a line, Kev, man, because Twin and I saw you, and believe it or not, man, we do so much, we moving so much, man.
Mhm.
I actually kind of stumbled upon you acting, and it really kind of frightened me, man. And I'm like, is he for real? I'm like, is this for real? What is going on here? I'm thinking that it was a video that you accidentally sent me, or what have you. But I realized that you was acting.
Yeah. And even with that, when we was sitting and we was watching it, me and Twin have this word we always say when something is real good, when articulate, we always say they jamming.
Oh, they jamming,
They
man.
jamming.
That's jamming,
Yeah,
man.
we say
good
jamming.
music to our ear. That's
Yes,
what we
good
mean by
music.
jamming.
And I just got to tell you, I haven't seen all your movies, but I think you done turned into my favorite movie star, man.
Man, listen. I mean, of course, Kev, I know that you get. This is not Denzel's son, or anything like that.
Yeah,
Family, but
yeah,
but again, hey man, when it comes down to the art of acting and entertaining, man, listen, you are up there with him. I tell you. Man, it don't take much for us to realize.
Yeah. We have seen a lot of your videos and how abstract, your lyrical content is, and even with your movies,
right?
And I'm quite sure, you do a lot of ad-libbing, and if not, I can see the lines that you're speaking are some lines that you're writing as well. And that's what I could see.
Mm-hmm.
And just one of those things, man, I see that the talent is impeccable. It's just,
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's impeccable. I mean, from, from the word get, man, from the first lines you wrote over here with the Xerox Twins, man, until all the other lines that you have spoke since then, man. What Twin was saying to you earlier about you were the first person that he heard say about Black Jesus, and it just brought me to the realization that you are aware. You have been aware for many, many years beyond your senior. You follow me? And this is, basically, what he reminded me of about you. You follow me? And and along with that, man, we have to give account to our number 4 brother, that God brother, that we was, connected with, Julius Friday. We have to give homage to him and his legacy with us, because we all made sure that we was taking care of one another all the way through, man. And I just have to bring that to the account, because y'all was our God brothers.
And 6'6" Julius Friday. I promise you, I was thinking about him at the very beginning of this thing, because when you talked about us all being together, he was there, from the beginning. And I forget your cousin's name, little dark skinned cat. Yeah, man. It was a beautiful thing. And Julius had such a charismatic personality, man. Always able to joke at the right time and everything. He kept everything light around us, Yeah.
Again, family, we're here. You know what I'm saying? The best life ever. What we love, we laugh, and we learn
how to live our
best life.
Amen. If there are any agents out there who get actors work, let me be a consideration. Please go to KEDorham, KEDORHAM.com, see the content, see the different roles that I've played and brought to life and put me to work.
Hey man, listen, Kev, this is what this is about, man. You know what I'm saying? We're about highlighting our celebrities. Of course, you have a celebrity and what have you. And a big ups to our background. You know what I'm saying? Our partner as well.
Yeah,
Derek Simmons, their sounds. Y'all make sure that y'all go check him out and what have you. But Kev, I brought you to this platform because I again want to introduce you to some people that we know. This is what we're about. We're about putting good people with good people and making great things happen. And we want to make sure that you stay in touch with Derek as well. Yeah. Again, family, we're here doing the best live ever. Make sure that you like, share, and follow.
And along with that, Kev, you do music for other people as well. Am I correct?
Haven't done much for other people because I don't like wasting words, but we have done some music and had, done some duos and we have produced some music for other people. It's just that if people want us to do some music for them, they just have to be serious about what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I remember watching some of your content, and you had an older woman,
Miss Carrie Cleveland, just turned 85 years old on January the 4th. We produced her music when she was 81, put it out, on her 82nd birthday. And there are beautiful videos there. If anybody get a chance to go see Black Nova High Beams, or go CarrieCleveland.com, CARRIE Cleveland.com, and see an angelic woman. She was so bad back in the 70s, no less than Marilyn McCool, Donna Summers, and her husband comprised the band and all these songs and put her out front. And, and when he went away, she hadn't performed hadn't recorded in 44 years until I brought her into the studio and did new music. And we were on Bay Area News and everything, man. And she's just a really beautiful soul, man.
Wow, man, fantastic, man. Listen, again, man, we'll be up there in Vegas, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll be up there to visit, man.
Come on through, you got a place to lay your
head. Again, family, we're here doing the best live ever. Hey, man, we always in social media. How, bro?
Was that all you wanted to say about anything else that you wanted to convey while you still?
No, man, I'm just looking for an agent to get me to work full time doing this thing that I love to do so much. And Mr. Simmons, I am highly impressed. If whomever watches this, you have to go see Bloodline Betrayal, on Tubi to see me in my nerdy role, and wait for March 17th to see Her Last Patient. But go and see Mr. Simmons do it for the gram. You're talking about some nice cinematography, man. That's second to none. You have to go see Do It for the Gram.
Do it for the gram.
Wow. Man, with that, with that, we always in social media with be humble, become more knowledgeable. That way you won't be vulnerable.
And I always say, we all we got.
And we all we need.
Like love.
And become lovable. Bull. All right, family. Next week, Wednesday, 8ish. Y'all make sure that you come and you tune in to the best live ever.
Best live ever.
Where we love, we laugh, and we learn how to live our best life. Again, family, much love and respect. Share, comments, push the hearts, the stars, subscribe.
Man, you speaking of comments, we gotta read some of these comments before we get up out of here.
Oh, okay then.
If we don't read this, Elijah. Yeah. Mr. Austin, he said, tell us about the casting coach. That's one that was said. We got what we have? We got Tracy Adams. We got Foxy Brown.
Oh wow.
There we go. Miss Deborah. Man, she hold on to us all the time.
Staying there,
constantly. Man, once again, family, much love. Xerox Twins. We're gonna go and sign it on out, bro.
That's it, man. Again, thank you, Derek Simmons, you know what I'm saying, for our background and supporting our career, who we are. Again, much love and respect, man.
Next time.
Like love.